WeImportant podcast.
Yo, welcome back to the WeImportant podcast. I'm your boy Q. You already know what it is, and I'm here with the Red Ranger himself.
How we doing, people? Welcome back, Wees, to another awesome, spectacular, splendid, and Earth Day filled episode of the WeImportant podcast.
Those word of the day apps are really helping you out, huh?
Dude, helping me a lot. Every morning I get a little word of the day.
Vocab's important, man.
Vocab is so important. Like, you just imagine, like, not being able to articulate how you feel is like the worst thing.
Yeah, I'm a man. I do that all the time.
You know? You do it all the time.
I have a hard time articulating how I feel always.
No, I totally get that. Me? I'm more of a poet.
You're a Casanova with words. You're a big time Casanova.
Me?
Yes, absolutely, bro. There's not a lot of people I know that actually took the time. Well, there's only one person I know that took the time to open the dictionary and be like, fuck it, I'm going to learn these words.
I definitely would like read a dictionary and shit. I do love words. That's like my nerd thing. Like music and nerd and words.
Hell yeah.
I also love nerdy men. They make me feel, you know.
Does it make you feel less nerdy or accepted for your nerdiness?
I think a little bit of both.
Right? Like, I'll stand next to someone who's like uglier than me just to make me look better.
You know what I'm saying? No. wait.
I like someone.
Wait. Hold up.
All right, we don't know each other that well. I got to be nice for at least the first 20 minutes.
You know, you've been there long enough already. You can be mean, I think. You've done you pay your dues.
Yeah, right.
It's all good.
Maybe I should tell them who I am.
Oh, shit. That's
probably good.
Point.
That's probably good.
What's up, y'all? My name's Eddie.
Who the hell are you?
My name's Eddie. Again, probably better known as Trashfish. I run like a weird little volunteer organization where we go kayaking in the Cuyahoga River and pick up trash.
Dope. So yeah, Eddie, we were gonna ask you. You totally fucked that up for us.
My bad. Get used to it.
We're gonna ask what makes you important, and I feel like you just kind of said that. What makes you important? I mean, unless there's something else. Do you juggle?
I can juggle 3 at least.
Can you really?
Yeah, legit. If I had more oranges, I'd show you. But
wordy man and
if you had 3,
man.
if you had like 3 rolled up socks, I'd definitely be juggling for you.
That. I don't know if you want to juggle my socks. It's a little crusty.
We'll put a clip after this off camera.
Yeah, tune in.
Of Eddie juggling.
Tune in.
I like we're definitely doing that.
That'd be a fucking great idea. Tell the little people, what is this organization? How to get started? Why are you out on the water picking up trash for free?
Oh man. Well,
for fucking free, right?
Is that
for free?
That's for free.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like we have our little ways that we try to keep this thing afloat. But I mean, it's a shoestring budget for sure, and shoestring enough that like I traded my shoestrings for lunch. Like we're cheap, you know. But our followers, man, like the 99% of the money that I just received my first legit grant and ever. So like I'm stoked about that, by the way.
Congrats.
But awesome. Like everything else has been fully funded by my savings and like our internet followers.
Wow.
Did you ever see it coming back around? Did you know if it's one of those things like, do you believe in pouring out to the universe and it'll come back? Good karma kind of thing?
I mean, sure, yeah. You know, like I feel like I'm not smart enough to maybe see the connection between like things all the time. But like, yeah, I mean, you try to do good and it turns out good. So
is that a motivating factor?
Well, it definitely was at the beginning. I noticed like, cause this whole thing started like, I'm an avid fisherman and like this whole thing started cause I broke my leg. I was stuck in a wheelchair and crutches fishing for a whole season. I was like, this is no fun. I'm gonna buy a kayak. I don't think I'd ever been in a kayak in my life at that point. And like, but so that was sweet. And then I realized I was like, oh, like if I pick up trash in these spots, because I'm like, oh, I want to fish this spot. It looks perfect for fishing. But there's all this trash in it. Mm-hmm. And then like, you don't catch nothing. And then you take the trash out of it. And the river goddess blesses you with a fish next time you're out, you know?
Well, why the Cuyahoga River? For people that, well, first off, Cuyahoga or Cuyahoga? You
know, I mean, language is a funny thing. We were just talking about that. I think you say what you want. I mean, how do we know how to say it or what it means? Am I messing with the volume? I'm being
no, you're totally good. You're good.
You know, we don't even know truly what the word Cuyahoga means, you know.
Does it mean crooked river?
So
I thought that's what
that's what like we all kind of
we're crooked county.
Like, yeah, you know, and like so like we hear that all the time. That was the thing I grew up with, and like the older I got and like the deeper I looked into those things, it was like, oh, like we killed all the people that spoke that language before we even really knew what that word meant.
Yeah, we did do that, didn't
we did that a little bit.
Aren't you
So-
Native American?
I am Native American. If you see my
My bad,
grandmother,
bud.
don't apologize to my
Europeans.
grandmother.
No, I'm apologizing for I'm apologizing for myself.
No,
Like,
I feel that, I feel
good.
that.
Fuck you.
Whoa, dude. Pocahontas would not
So, and I guess I
approve.
don't have to give you any trash for your Chief Wahoo hat.
No, you
right?
definitely do.
Nah,
You have to give me trash for it.
I won't.
That's an ilty. Listen, I'll keep that on the table.
That's funny because like I have like two ilty Chief Wahoo, like old school, and like especially like that's a drawing of the real old school Chief Wahoo
Right.
on an old ilty sweatshirt,
that's raw.
and like I want to wear it all the time, and I cannot.
See, like I think this one's cool because it's like the COVID. It's the COVID one. You know?
Oh, I
So
didn't
he's,
even
like,
notice that.
He's like mutated and
That's
he's got the
funny.
mask on.
That's
And I
funny.
keep it on the table because you know Glenn.
Yeah.
You friends with Glenn?
No, but like I
Okay.
know who he is. I mean, not in a. I'm not.
We're
friends.
always hoping Glenn's watching this.
Dude, I ask
And
every
just-
person
This
that's
is
like
the bad signal.
I asked them if they're cool. Like Bobby Boucher's been on, Malcolm Dakar, Wavy Duder. They all know Glenn, right? I'm like, you guys know Glenn? You guys friends with Glenn?
I've been out of that scene for so long. Like I used to work with a clothing company called Last Place. I don't know if you guys ever remember that. It was like a 2010-ish stuff, but
Sounds
like
familiar.
we were they sold along with Ilthy and stuff, so
Got it.
a
Yeah,
little bit in that scene.
I'm a big Glenn guy.
Hell yeah.
Big Glenn guy right here. That's for you, Glenn. We love you. Anyway, back to you, Eddie.
Why the Cuyahoga River?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, to be quite honest, when this really started, I was living in Pittsburgh, and I was in between Pittsburgh and Cleveland weekdays. 4 weekdays usually. I was in Pittsburgh, and then for the weekends I was back in here in Cleveland, and I was doing this. Basically, I could throw a baseball from my apartment to the Allegheny River in Pittsburgh, and I was like, every morning before work or after work, I was out there kayaking, trying to fish and stuff, and like their river looked just like ours. That, you know, there's no difference. It's an industrialized waterway in America. They all pretty much look the same, and they have very similar problems. So like it was like, I'm doing this there on the weekdays, I'm doing this at home on the weekends, just as a hobby, just for fun, and like straight hiding it from like everybody. You know, I'm not a big social media person. I'm still not very into it, but like doing this, it felt like, oh, like don't let your left hand show what your, you know what your right hand is doing or whatever. And like, why am I going to post like pictures of me picking up garbage? And then I had a couple of spare kayaks. I had friends that like to go. They like to see me. They would see me picking up garbage, you know, when we're out there. They're like, dude, like you need to talk to people about this. Like you can't just like, if you really want to make it, you're doing cool. That's great. All the trash you get out of the river is good. But like, if you really want to make a difference about this, tell people about it. And they're smarter than me. And I took their advice.
What do you
That
think
is
about
incredible.
where society and digital media is coming to an age where they've kind of saturated this giving back, where that you have to videotape yourself giving money to homeless people, people in need? So you were against that, it sounds like.
Oh yeah. And like, it's still one of the biggest like hurdles that I have throughout this project for sure.
It's just like not bragging about it.
And like, I mean, I'm the kind of person who like, I don't trust too many people. I got to question everyone's intentions about everything. Right. And that may be a fault of mine, but it's, you know, it seems to be the way that society exists at this point.
I mean, you're doing it for your reasons, and you're doing it for the right reasons. I think what you got going is a great thing. And I'm curious because based on digital media, it looks like you've been at this for about 3 years. How long really have you been at like cleaning up trash altogether?
I got my first kayak, I think in 2014, or like really early 2015. And
you got the kayak. Did you get the kayak with the intention to clean up trash, or you just doing?
No, I just like, I was bummed
fish.
out that I was fishing from a wheelchair and it was no fun. You know, fishing from my crutches was no fun. And so I was like, if I want to cruise around the river, cruise around, you know, ponds and stuff, it's the way to do it. Pardon me. But so, you know, I got my first kayak in 2014, and like day one, basically you're seeing the river from a real different situation when you're in the kayak. You know, even when you're like, you know, fishing from the bank, you can walk some ways, but then there's maybe trees or whatever's on the thing. You can't get to it. In a kayak, you get up in all those nooks and crannies. You're looking up underneath those tree limbs or up by the rocks and whatever. And you see the trash. And to me, it was like how I like watch people every weekend, like paddling past a football field size, you know, pile of trash in the Cuyahoga River. how do you just paddle past that?
Yeah.
Once you grab the trash, where do you take it?
So back in the day, it used to be like real covert. I worked for a wood shop in Pittsburgh that, I had a lot of fun at, and they would let me use their dumpster and stuff. They're very supportive of the mission. But so that was cool. Here now in Cleveland, I've got a couple of businesses around that they let me use their trash cans and don't say too much about it. But we've also had some people put locks on their trash cans because they saw it happening a little too often, I think. But
so now when you're going out, are you always with people? Are you solo? You still doing solo trips?
I definitely am only solo during the winter. No one, we don't give our volunteers kayaks during the winter because it's just not safe. I've got a $900 dry suit that I have to wear in case I fall in, and it's not even like a wetsuit, like a scuba diving suit. It's more like a astronaut's suit. It's like sealed everywhere. You go in there, you're bone dry.
Are you ready for a fucking lawsuit?
No. And that's the ticket, dude. No. You can try to take what I have. I got a real, beat up truck. I got 13 kayaks or something.
Got that $900 dry suit.
Right. True. Don't hate. No bragging. No
liquid
bragging.
assets.
And that was purchased by my followers because they want to see me out in the winter. And I was like, I can't do this without the right safety gear. My safety gear that I have, I thought it was adequate at first. And I was like, oh, I'm a big tough guy. I can do whatever. And then you do some reading and get learned real quick that cold water is no fun. Oh yeah. Not picking up trash. And every time I've fallen in, it was 100% my fault, basically. So you kayak long enough, you're going to fall in.
I can see that.
We've never had a volunteer fall ever. So
thank God.
Knock on
keep
wood.
It going.
Love to hear.
Yeah, is any of this wood?
I think this is wood, right?
Quentin's gonna win that.
Sure. That looks wood. Take us back to that first kayak trip where you set out to go fishing, and you decided it's dirty over here, and you decided to pick up the trash. Did you know that day that this would be something you would do regularly?
No, I was doing it, kind of just here and there. If I wasn't catching fish, I could always pick up some trash. It wasn't that serious. And then, the first winter I really kayaked, the fishing slows down a little bit, and there was more time to just I'm not even bringing rods. It's not even worth it. I'm just gonna I got my net, I got my trash grabber. I figured out, what kind of tools are best for this, and what was the rest of your question? I lost my own train of thought.
What was my question?
Dude, I was totally thinking of why you got into
hardly
this.
important.
I'll tell you what's going through my mind right now is imagining you out on the kayak fishing, and eventually you're just getting sick of getting no fucking bites, and you're like, I'm gonna pick up this straw.
Yeah, literally, that's what it was. Yeah. It's I don't want to go home and sit on the couch watching TV.
Right.
And even if I'm not catching fish, I'm still just gonna sit out here and. It became a game, a little bit. And then, this is where I was going. So,
of course.
I was doing this very sporadically, and just kind of whenever I wanted. And then I took a week off of work. I was like, I'm taking vacation. I didn't go anywhere. I just spent 6 straight days in the kayak, just picking up trash, no fishing, no whatever. I was like, just see if you can do it. Test yourself out. See if this is it's not a job. No one goes to school for this.
Right.
I came up with the idea on accident, So it was go try this out, see if it's a real thing. And then basically day 3, I was like, I'm never going back to work. I got to do this. And I spent the next year or so just saving every single penny that I had so that I could eventually quit. And I was like, I love Pittsburgh. I had a lot of fun there, loved my job there. But if I was going to do this kind of work in a river, it was going to be the one that gave me so much growing up. I spent my childhood hiking and walking and riding my bike around the Cuyahoga River.
Yo, I got to stop us here because honestly, everybody, I'm so blown away by this dude right here. This shit is incredible, man. I can't even fathom how genuine this is, just how wholesome this is. You know what I mean? People, we love our city. Everybody loves Cleveland. If you're from Cleveland,
absolutely. People
move away. We have them on the podcast. They talk about how they leave. They go to LA. They're trying to do all these pursuits or whatever, chase their dreams, and they come back because there's no place like home.
No.
There's no place like this city. It's very amazing. But with all of the pride that we have for our sports teams and shit like that, how many of us could say that we love the city so much that we would go out here and pick up trash for free just because we want to enjoy our city more.
And a notorious river that is known for being a dumpster dive full of oil.
It caught on fire.
Guys, I could introduce you to hundreds of them.
You know,
I could introduce you to hundreds of people that are like, yeah, I do love this. I love these people.
And when I think about it, like, I think about how much I love the city. I'm like, why haven't I been out there with you?
I got kayaks for you.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is something that we should all be doing. This is something that, like, if you really got pride, if you really want to say that, you know, bitch, I'm from Cleveland. We all want to say that shit. Like, get you a net. Link up with Eddie, get in the motherfucking kayak, and pick up some fucking trash out of the river, man. That shit is what we need to be doing.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's what we need to be doing, man. I'm honestly like, we're not even, we 15 minutes into this shit? I am astonished already. I really am blown away, and I got to get this man his flowers. Like, this is incredible.
Well, for me, I feel like the first time I ever heard of the Cuyahoga, we're in U.S. history in junior high, and of course, they bring up the river fire. And in my mind as a kid, it just sounds like, oh, this river's too far gone. What are you trying to do here?
Like, I mean, obviously the river has a storied past, but like if you dive deep into what that fire started, like the spark, the ignition, fully pun intended, I guess, like that sparked the forming of the EPA, you know, the Clean Water Act, the Fresh Water Act, the, you know, Endangered Species Act, all of these major environmental legislative movements were all because this river caught on fire. And, you know, like, I mean, if you want to dive even deeper than that, should we get really real right now?
Please.
I mean, call out Rockefeller right now.
Dude, it's on some really racist shit that this happened. Okay. So, like, nobody was given a hoot about what was going on in Cleveland. There were other rivers that looked, like I said, that looked just like this. That was the main fire everybody heard about was in 1969, right? The photograph that y'all have seen from that fire happened 2 years earlier. Because the fire in 69 was so small and lasted so little time, they were able to put it out, no casualties, no, like, it wasn't, you know, hundreds of thousands of back then dollars of damage. It was because we had our first our and one of the country's first black mayors in a major city, and all these national media people were in Cleveland with the, like, basically go there, wait for this guy to mess up, and let's make him look like an idiot.
So the first time a little fire catches on a river.
That was the 13th fire, I think, at that point.
That's crazy, because I did not know that.
How about this? We've had a 14th in 2020. The river caught on fire again. Y'all didn't hear about that. So a tanker full of gasoline flipped over on Route 8, and enough of the fuel came out of the truck into the sewer. Within like 15 minutes, there was a fire like down by like Gorge Park, like Gorge Dam. So like we're not out of it yet. But obviously, like you were saying, like it's not the same river. Like we did clean, you know, we did all this work, stop these corporations from just like indiscriminately dumping garbage and pollutants into our water. It's a different story, but we have modern stressors now. Don't
you think it's interesting though? I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate with people that like to watch the news. It seems like a lot of this tanker shit, oil spills going on for a while, but only when something like the public catches film on and blows up is where the media finally addresses it. Oh yeah. Like the shit that obviously happened in East Palestine. Oh yeah. It's been happening for a little while now. Everywhere. Granted, not as bad as chemicals, and it's every situation is a bad situation involving any of that.
Let's talk about how bad that situation, and I mean, it was bad. And like I was down in East Palestine multiple times, like spent time there, saw the rainbow rivers. Like I'll show you guys videos on the phone later.
Shit. Are the frogs really gay down there?
Dude, I like when I walked in here, let me tell you something.
Disclaimer, we support gay frogs.
When I walked in here and I saw this, I was like, damn, $1 billion studio. I feel like Alex Jones right now. I was like, I feel like, which is where the frogs kick. Dude, that's right. That's it. Oh, sorry. I was like, I thought we were about to connect on some Alex Jones.
I forgot where it even came from, but yeah. I hear Alex Jones is so jarring these days.
Dude, it's ridiculous. I have like a lightweight obsession with Alex Jones.
You're canceled.
No, I mean in like the most negative possible way. You know, like I mean, I refuse to like give even like add click dollars to the people who are reposting his stuff on YouTube or whatever. Sure. I'm not going to his website. Yeah. There's a podcast that I love called Knowledge Fight, shout out, that the one dude listens to like way too much Alex Jones and then explains it to another guy who doesn't listen to any of it. And it is unbelievably good.
Yeah.
That sounds
so good, dude.
hilarious. Being the intermediary for like.
Alex Jones is so. I feel like I do the same thing for Kanye.
Dude, once the defamation,
He was on. Did you see the Kanye Alex Jones interview? It's unreal.
It's unreal, dude.
And that's like the mildest stuff that happens on Alex Jones's show.
But
they shined the light on that one heavy because Kanye had the light on him. But Alex Jones been wild.
I mean, Alex Jones will do anything to get out of this $5 billion lawsuit. Well,
interesting. Wow. I can't talk about it here. I can talk about what I was about to say, but I'll tell you about it later. Okay. But about Alex Jones and that situation.
We love lawsuits.
Dude, how
we do not love lawsuits.
I mean, lawsuits, they don't hurt these people. You know, I mean, like like Fox News, they just, they were like, oh, it's going to be, maybe $2 billion. And now it's like, oh, it's a 900 and some million. But what a lot of people don't realize is that, first of all, they have insurance that'll cover some of that. Then their like thing that they said today was there's like laws that say that like, oh, I can write this off on my taxes. So like we paid for that lawsuit.
That's incredible. And that's
we paid for that lawsuit. And that's the same way when these companies dump oil in the ocean or this thing, this train crashes and explodes, which like back on that tip, y'all know that train rolled right through Cleveland, like 3 hours before.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah. If that thing if what happened had happened here 3 hours earlier, imagine just the scope of, just how many lives affected by that. Not that it's any better that it happened in a lower populated area, but like
when you get the big major cities involved,
scary.
I mean, yeah, shit.
But they got those corporations, they got all the money to pay them off.
Sure do, man. You can do whatever you want as long as you can pay for it.
Lobbyists, we fucking love them.
Love it.
So scary. All right, let's get back to the
trash. Fuck the man. Fuck the man.
Which one?
Uncle Sam?
Okay.
We're fucking him.
We're fucking Uncle Sam.
You're not going to pay taxes this year.
Plot twist, we fuck our uncle. He's not fucking us anymore. I'm sorry for anybody who
fucked your uncle.
Traumatized. I'm so sorry.
Apology accepted. Just kidding.
All right, back to Trashfish.
Yeah, what about Trashfish? No, let's put some distance in between that.
Yeah, right. Pause for a little bit. No, but back to social media. I think should ask this question. What have you seen? So, like, you said your friends had convinced you to, kind of broadcast what you were doing because it's important, and you're gonna find like-minded people to rally behind you. Has that happened with the social media? I know that it has.
I was gonna say right before we turn these microphones on, what did I say to you guys? Yeah, my followers are smart.
Right.
They like know stuff. They're dedicated. They're interested in this stuff. It's not people. Obviously, like it's not that people love looking at rivers filled with garbage because most people can't stomach that. And like that's the other thing about my followers. I'm like, dude, I'm impressed. If I do say so myself, I can impress myself by like how much I can just tolerate being down in that garbage. And I'm
how's the smell?
Now it's terrible.
Yeah, because people keep it out of sight, out of mind kind of thing.
No, man, that is like the city's goal too.
Yeah.
When you picked up the dead walleye, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I know what this fucking smells like through the fucking screen, bro.
I mean, it's terrible. You go to Edgewater and there's all these dead fish.
Then you go to 55th Pier. Is it 55th?
Anyway. Wait, though, that walleye that you saw?
Don't tell me you cooked him.
No, dude, that was mounted. Look at that photo again later.
Why? I was wondering why it was so straight.
It's a taxidermied thing a walleye that I found floating in the lake.
Wow.
But its eyes were white.
Had the shine. They like did it. They like do that. Wow. It's good taxidermy. I took it. It is. It's not bad.
Shout out to
you. I got it hanging in my dad's barn. I took
You
it.
kept that?
Oh yeah. I took it to a taxidermist and I was like, I don't want to spend a bunch of money on this, but like, I'd love to fix it. If there's anything I can do. And she was like, the damage is like not bad at all. So superficial. They like taught me how to like pack it full of borax and dry out what needed. And then I didn't touch up, but they were like, you could touch up the paint a little bit and like make this thing look like brand new. But I was like, I'll leave the battle scars on it, but it's all dry and clean and it looks sweet, I think.
Wow. All right. So
you find some weird shit out there.
Oh,
I bet.
What's the most...
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
What's the most messed up, fucked up, disgusting thing you've ever found? Maybe those are all three different questions.
Dude, we find a lot of sex toys. A lot of marital aids.
It's funny that you say that. He sent me a video the other day from his sister lives in Florida.
This is personal.
And his sister and her boyfriend were down fishing. They fish a lot up down there. And they pull the line up and there's a dildo on the end of it. I mean, yeah.
Dude, I don't doubt it.
Rice Day.
I got
Catch of the day.
Incredible.
Dude, that's gross, and I love it.
Why? How?
They left it out on the dock, though. They didn't throw it away. They just left it for the next fisherman.
But like, who's throwing sex toys into the water?
People going through a divorce.
So I like, especially like with that walleye I found, I was like, sometimes I like to like make up these like romanticized, like, oh, how did this get down here? Whatever.
Right.
I think the sex toys and stuff, it's like, first of all, anything that's in your bathroom that can fit down the toilet is gonna end up in the river. And especially things that are like embarrassing to throw away, or like you didn't want your roommate to see like condom in the trash. You throw that thing right in the toilet, and I'm gonna find it.
I don't understand people that fucking do that, man.
It's renters, I'll tell you that. You wouldn't do that to your own plumbing.
Yeah, no.
No.
Wow. That's so fucking weird. You flushing dildos down the toilet?
I don't know. You know, maybe it's like, oh, I want to get rid of this thing, but I don't want to throw it away. So just like throw it down the side of the road. Because like that's the thing is like
you're grabbing
90%, 99% of the trash that we pull out of that river came from the sewers. It came from the street. Then it rains, gets in the sewers. We have combined sewage discharge in this city, much like plenty others. And that's the way that story goes.
I heard the one discharged by Edgewater is fucking disgusting.
Well, and like so, like that's like, you know, we hear all the time. It's like, oh, like E. coli in the water, like don't get in. What is that from? Oh, it's like unfiltered human waste that's like coming out of the sewer.
Yeah,
and like that's the drinking water of what 13 million people.
At least we're gonna have drinking water for a while. Damn, dude, that shit's
dude. Like unless we sell it all.
Well, what do you do when you're out there and you can't pick up some of the trash? You use your hand?
So I like both from a zero waste standpoint and like we'll get into it standpoint. I don't even give my volunteers gloves. I keep them on me. I'm like, hey, if you guys really want them, I'll give you some, you know, latex gloves or whatever. But it gives you the confidence to go touch that stuff. I'm like, dude, on the best case scenario, you don't want to touch this stuff. Yeah. On the worst case scenario, you're jabbed with a needle because like they're everywhere down there.
For sure.
That's
terrible.
Oh yeah.
How many needles do you think you found so far?
Oh, just hundreds and thousands. Oh yeah. I was gonna say probably. I don't even know why I said hundreds. Got to be thousands.
Is that a different type of waste, or like what are you doing with all this shit?
99% of the time, the sharp is gone. The needle part has been broken off, and you know whatever. I still don't touch them because like. I don't know. I'm not interested. Yeah. And so we use those grabbers. I give all my volunteers like a grabber. I buy the nicest grabbers you can possibly buy. You might have seen we put a little floaty pool noodle on them so that, you know, they don't sink because you only have to do that a couple times before you learn that lesson. But so like, yeah, I try not to use gloves. I don't even want that like false sense of confidence to want to go pick that up.
All right. So 2 questions.
I would tweak.
2 questions real quick. Back to the social media thing. How long from you starting the post and broadcast that you're doing Trashfish that you started to get an influx of volunteers? And number 2, how did you get the knowledge about environmentalism that you have now? Like, you know a lot about the sewer system, how the city sewers work and things like that. And, you know, where'd you gain that?
So like to your social media question, I think it was like I was doing this like totally in secret for a couple of years, and then maybe post 1 or 2 times about it. And then the summer of 2019 was the first time we had like I'd already been posting way more constantly. We were getting people dedicating bags to their friends, or my mom's getting married or whatever. It's her birthday, and so we had a nice following online. And then the end of that summer, I was like, I got like 4 or 5 kayaks. Like I can take some people out. So it was just like my personal friends really, or like they would be like, hey, my buddy knows about this and really wants to do it. But okay, fine. I'll take these people out that I've never met. And then the pandemic hit, and like I'd already decided over the course of that winter, I was like, this is the direction this has to go. Like I want other people in this. And like that was not my intention. To be totally honest with you, if you had been like, hey, draw the map of like where this is going, I was like, I could get enough people to care about this on the internet that will like fund my gas for like a transit van, and I'm just going to travel all over the place and do this, you know? And then when I came back to Cleveland, I was like, okay, like I'm setting up shop here a little bit more than I expected, you know, and wanted to stay, got the volunteer program going. And then I was like, this is it. Like, this is the absolute best thing that this can be. There might be other branches that we explore, but like, this is such an important tenet to have that community engagement, bringing people out there, forcing them to see what that is, and then teaching them. Cause like, I mean, it's all a ruse, right? So I trick you with the free kayak. I'm like, hey, come down. Like, we'll clean up garbage. I can paddle faster than pretty much anybody. You're not getting away. You're gonna hear me spout off all sorts of random stuff that,
you
like,
try to get out
you know,
of it.
and
Once you're there, you're there.
Like, I mean, you're there, and I'm gonna treat it like a science lesson. Like, fair warning. Like, I mean, it's half litter cleanup, half enjoying the sun. 153rd half would be, like a science
Coach
lesson,
Eddie.
basically. Yeah, basically.
Fucking Coach
You know,
Eddie.
and like we get
No
little
bullshit.
kids now, and like we've had like science classes like come out, field trip, you know, even homeschooled like kids. Like that's like where it's at.
I've seen you've even had people from outside of Cleveland get in contact to come out here, from people from Seattle.
Oh yeah, and they're like, hey, like we're doing this like cross country road trip. Like Cleveland wasn't really on our list, but like, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, stop through.
And you spoke about getting a grant. Is that based off of like the educational factor of it all?
No, this one is like more based around litter cleanup, and it's put on by another organization that does really great work on, other Great Lakes regions. But like, they wanted to help share the wealth, and like that's really cool. So I was stoked on it. They actually, contacted me and was like, hey, like, just so you know, like, you're one of the people that we think really should apply for this. And I think I did a good enough job.
No, I think it's interesting because for you didn't see a long term of this money coming in, people believing in your dream. You saw it as, I'm going to quit my day job to do this cleaning stuff because it needs to be done.
Right.
I want to get this message out. The dollar sign's coming to you now. Does it feel good? Is it rewarding? Or is it just one of those things like, hey, I don't really want the money, but if
you're
it can
throwing
help,
it back into the cause.
Boys, I could be working at McDonald's and be doing so much better than I'm doing right now. I promise you. Like, when George Soros, if you're out there, like, we will sell out. But like, no, I mean, if a day comes where we actually make any money, I'll let y'all know.
Same here at the WeImportant podcast. We feel the same way. We're not making any money.
No. We do it for
Harry owes
laughs
me
and
a couple
giggles.
Yeah, and you guys are doing great. Looking good doing it.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you. Back to my question.
How's my complexion?
It's great.
Creamy.
There you go.
Back to the question about where'd you get the knowledge about environmentalism?
So like I said, I went to school for journalism, and like I wanted to write stories about things that I cared about. Environmentalism has always been like something that I've been into and I care about, and it really affected like my lifestyle choices in a lot of ways, especially when I was younger, and I like fell captive to like that carbon footprint. Like, you got to do what's good for the environment, and like, don't get me wrong, I still live, very much in that mindset. But like, I know that my little piddly couple of gallons of fuel doesn't matter to like someone jet setting around in private jets all day, or a corporation polluting the world. So I've always been into that sort of thing, and I've always been very into I've always been very against corporations like taking advantage of people, communities, environments, wildlife, like whatever. So it's always been a big thing for me. And then when I was into journalism, that story like had no power. Like, no one wanted to tell stories like that.
Right.
And I was just like, when I got out of journalism, I was like, if I have a story to tell, it's like this one thing. If I'm going to put my efforts to like telling a story, it's going to be that. So study hard. The internet has taught me, everything that I know, basically. So I read about this stuff incessantly to the point where you just can't even exist.
I mean, knowledge is one thing that I feel as you're searching for, and something that a subject you're actually interested in. It's super fun to do. Like, I love
research, dude. Like,
you can't force yourself to read a book if you're not really into
I can't read a book. So.
Even though you know it's going to... Hey, bro.
Hardly, dude.
YouTube gives you a Harvard education.
Yeah.
For free.
Absolutely.
For free.
Free game everywhere.
Knowledge is
great. And nobody's
great,
parents had to pay your way in.
There we go. Grants.
And
work
Becky.
hard. Be smart.
Fuck you, Aunt Becky.
Keep asking fucking questions. Just like keep asking questions for all our guests that come on here. Just as we have for you guys. We have some questions from you for Eddie.
Yeah,
that's a smooth transition right there.
Yeah, you like that segue?
Cheers.
He's worked
That's
on
that public communication degree from Kent State.
Hey, man, we're in the same boat.
Hey, I got one more question before we do that.
Please.
Has the term white trash changed for you?
No, I'm still white trash. I've always been.
It's the same thing.
But no, I mean, I guess like I'm the trashiest. Like you couldn't say anything that offended me anyways.
You look
so,
like you rock Raiders gear, but maybe that's just the black-white.
I just can't do colors, dude.
I feel that.
I can't do it. It's grayscale all the time.
That's it.
Always.
Dude,
it's easy to mix and match with that.
There's something beautiful about that.
I mean, I literally only own like 5 t-shirts and 3 pairs of pants. So like, this is my...
No black studs to go with it either. Not an earring guy?
I got a little nose guy. Does that count?
That counts.
I'm afraid of needles, dude.
I like that. You're the trashiest. That's good. That's good branding right there. Wear that proudly.
I mean, that the name Trashfish alone is like.
It's actually so good.
Do you like it? Do you like the logo? That's like the most professional thing about us.
You have merch.
I got t-shirts and stuff, but again, like we don't have a store because like it breaks my heart to want to sell people things that are like. Not good, you know. Everyone's, I need more stickers, or I need make these little bracelets or something. And I'm making plastic garbage
that's
to
gonna go in
support.
the river.
Yeah, right. That's like I pick that stuff anyway.
T-shirts though.
So yeah, I got t-shirts.
I think t-shirts are not. You know, people wear t-shirts.
Yeah, and like I mean, I got like what I, as best I know, is like an ethically sourced, shirt, and then the people who and like. David Wilson, Downpour Creative, did that amazing logo for it. I love that thing. So I went to him. I was like, dude. Late 90s pop punk t-shirt, like give it to me, please. And like that's his kind of one of his specialties. So, but like, where were we going? The people that printed our shirt, they, he was like, hey, like I can like source you plastic free ink and stuff. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Right.
And like I don't tell people that, when you buy a shirt, it's not like, oh, this is like good for the environment. No, it's just like that's a personal choice. I'm going to pay a little extra for that. And then,
I mean, that's part of your identity. So it's like,
you're not a fucking sellout. That's
dude, ask me what our t-shirts cost.
How much do the t-shirts cost?
Everything that we do is on a sliding scale. If you have $20 for a t-shirt, great, because someone else might have 35 to cover the difference, or like if you can't, if you're like, hey, I want this t-shirt. I understand that like some people don't pay full price for them. I want to double it. Don't give me 2 t-shirts, but here's, $60 or whatever, which is like super rad. And I think giving people that option has like, I mean, first of all, it felt good to be able to do, but also it's like worked out for us. So many people are just like, I love what you do. Here, cover the shipping on the next one.
Where can people find a shirt to buy real quick?
So we are so against selling things that like, we don't have an online store or anything. You just message me online on Instagram and like, I'll send you a shirt. I'm going to write I love you on the sticker that comes with it. So
everybody loves a handwritten letter, man. Letters are so important.
I don't buy anything, but like I got a YouTuber that I like and like I wanted to support him. I actually bought a Gay Frogs t-shirt. Again, another person that like ridicules Alex Jones. When I got his package, it like came with like 3 things I didn't order and a handwritten letter. And I mean, the dude's got like, over 1 million followers and he's writing me like hey, thanks, man. Boom, sign it off. I was like, that means so much to so many people.
Right.
And like, I'm so bad at saying thank you. Like I never feel like I can express gratitude or like properly or like thank someone enough. So just like try.
Man, communication's ideal, bro. Don't be afraid to reach out. Letting people know you appreciate them.
Right.
And you smaller operations, man.
And ask them how their fucking day is going and continue to ask us questions like Eddie's questions. Most important questions from the audience.
Most important questions from the audience.
Which like, this is such a rad thing that you guys do. When I first saw that in an episode, I was like, oh, that's a genius idea. I hope they're going to do that for my episode.
Of course we're going to do it for your episode.
But that was like the first one I watched. I didn't know it was going to be on every one. I was like, that's rad.
We implemented questions from the audience in season 3 this season with the camera. And we thought it was important.
Makes it fun. Also, with people that follow you and people that follow us, it's a mix of different audiences. So we get the deep questions, we get the funny questions, and we get the fucked up questions. A lot of fucked up questions.
A lot more than you think.
For me or you guys? Just in general.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're on the story, but like they swipe up on the story. Like,
and they just say the wildest shit.
Like left nut, right nut. Shit like, how big's your guys' dicks? Dude, wild shit. Black or white.
I live on the internet, unfortunately. I have to spend time on social media. I love Reddit. It's where I get a lot of news and stuff.
I love Reddit.
And it sucks to have to say that, but I do love Reddit.
They censored a little bit more now.
Well, Reddit
it's not like
4chan, like a resource.
I don't want it to be like 4chan, to be quite honest.
4chan got away with a lot of shit, man. It still does.
4chan should never exist.
But like, again. I mean, I live in these worlds where like you just see the worst shit being said all the time on everything. Mm-hmm. And like, I post on Reddit. Like, we have a presence on Reddit, and like, I get ripped apart all the time. Not by my followers. Like, these people are the most positive. Like, it's amazing. These people are amazing.
Reddit's the most cruel audience, you think?
I don't know about most cruel because like I will not go to like 4kun now. I think it or 8kun, whatever it's called now, the new 4chan. But
yeah, I'm not keeping up with 4chan.
I'm not going to those.
I love Reddit though because like you get the weird niche things and you get people that like give you gems.
You can very easily curate what you want to see on Reddit.
Exactly.
You can't do that at a lot of places anymore because it's all the algorithm trying to feed you
smut.
The same
push
garbage.
Shit in there and that you won't see. You'll see one video one day, then 2, and then 4, and then 8, and then next thing you know, Quentin's watching Christians, Church of God.
Q didn't used to be Q until social media ruined him, and now he's. Are you QAnon?
Dude, you're not. Come on.
My bad. Bleep that out.
We're going to have to take the Anon
Crystal,
out.
can you go back and bleep that out?
Yeah, it's fine.
It has everything to deal with hair and baldness. 2 completely different people.
It's working.
And black.
Raid the Capitol. Let's get into a question from the audience.
My God.
Again, we didn't do enough last time.
Questions from the audience. We got the first one. Have you found a dead body or at least a bit of one?
Oh, man.
I know you saw that.
I did see that because that was my buddy David, who is like, I mean, legit one of the best skateboarders there ever is.
Right.
And like,
you're not being generous?
No, dude. But I will say he won't admit to this, but like, I might have taught him to no comply when we were like serving in Desert Storm together, but
okay.
No, that's not true. No, he's an absolute ripper. And I love that he loves Trashfish. But he asked about a dead body. No, we have not found a dead body. Thank Christ. Because like
pieces of it?
No, we were asked to assist me and a volunteer, which like luckily I knew them outside of Trashfish because like police boat came up and they're like, hey, we can't really like get back there. Can you like guys like would you mind? And I was like, this is the like weirdest, most unprofessional thing. Like I feel like
you're escorting the police.
No, they wanted us to go look behind in between these like boats that they couldn't get to.
Oh God.
Were they like, hey, their body would look like this?
Yeah. So they had
right.
Wow.
But so like they sent us back there and we didn't see anything. And like I said, luckily I was with a volunteer that was like, oh, yeah, I'll go do that. And so we cruised back there and found nothing. And then like 2 days later, they found that body and it was like right where we were.
Wow.
Waiting for it to float.
What?
Waiting for it to come up.
Yeah. Probably was either just tucked behind something or wasn't up. But every time we eat so many shoes, so many gloves, every time I'm like, is this going to be the day? No foot. Thank God. That's like a big thing. There's like actually from David's side of the world, the West Coast deals with feet floating up on the shore all the time. And like they thought they had like some sort of like fetishist serial killer or something on the loose. But then they were like, oh no, these people die at sea, sink to the bottom, and the crabs go for the softest tissue. So they can't get through the shoe. They bite through the ankle and the tendons and stuff, and then the shoes float.
Wow.
So they pop back up, and that's the only thing they find of these people. This took a turn for the dark. Sorry, David.
So crazy.
Start putting your name tags in your shoes.
Hey, don't ask about dead bodies if you don't want to know the truth.
Right?
You know
yeah. But like, and a lot of people ask if we've ever found a gun and stuff. Like, no.
You're not doing the magnet fishing shit.
No, exactly. And like the river down there, believe it or not, like where we're cleaning up it's like 40 feet deep.
I mean, isn't Lake Erie only gets to like 50 feet anyway?
No, dude. It's like hundreds of feet deep. I'm pretty sure. I mean, don't test me on that. Somebody Google it. But it is the shallowest. It is the shallowest of all the Great Lakes.
Interesting.
Google
That's
it though.
So interesting.
Lake Erie's 210 feet deep.
There you go.
Hey, if you guys want to make a little side hustle, go to the West Coast, collect some feet, and take pictures of them and sell them online.
Can you keep the ring if you find them?
I keep all the shoes for sure. I have like an embarrassing collection of trash.
Have you found like $1,000 sneakers or anything?
We found some like nice ones, definitely name brand stuff. Like, I mean, nothing that I'm going to clean up and wear, but.
Do you have a prized trash possession that like walleye?
That walleye is really cool. I brought you guys something. Dun, dun, dun.
Every guess.
Close your eyes.
I might have to keep this. No, I could give this to you. I
can
leave this here for you. But yeah, close your eyes. Okay. Here you go. Check that out.
What the fuck is it? Is that cocaine?
No.
Oh.
We have found drugs.
Can I open it?
No, they're gross.
Can I open it?
Yeah. Go ahead. Be careful. Don't spill them all over because you'll never pick them up. So those are called nurdles. And this is my least favorite thing that we find in the river.
Yeah, I saw you picking. I saw a video of you like sifting those out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and like typically when they're in the water, I just have like a little 4-inch net that I scoop those out one by one by one.
And these are what?
So this is the raw plastic pellets
this can go up here. We should definitely have
for
it.
sure.
We keep that.
You guys can keep that,
It's in the
for
shot.
sure.
It's
For sure.
It's part of the shot now.
I've got hundreds of thousands of them. So have at it.
Okay, but they're pure plastic.
So those are raw resin plastic pellets that are used to manufacture
Beanie Babies.
They are in Beanie Babies. That's like where most people will like know them. But if they're not in Beanie Babies, they get turned into stuff like this. This was maybe, I don't know, 200 nurdles at its life. They pigment them, they dye them, or everything. I mean, the rims of your glasses, your toothbrush, the bumper of your car, my kayak. I just did the math on it a little bit. So like a nurdle weighs like, I'm not going to touch you guys on the math, but like, so my kayak, I think, is about 1.9 million nurdles to make my current kayak.
That's a lot of nurdles.
Yeah.
Can matter be destroyed, or is it just
well, it's plastic, so it's forever, dog.
Yeah, doesn't degrade.
That's in our water, man. I mean, like you see those, they look like fish eggs or like whatever. Like, I mean,
like I wouldn't think that was anything. If I was swimming and I saw that, I wouldn't think that it was. I thought it belonged there.
Oh yeah, and like I tell people, we're out cleaning, and like we're out there for an hour, and I get to the point in my little speech where I start talking about nurdles or whatever, and they're like, "Well, if there's millions of them, how come I haven't seen them?" And I was like, "Because you didn't see them yet. You will see nothing but nurdles for the rest of the time you're out here." And then they can't believe it because you don't notice them. They just look like a little bit of styrofoam or rock, because really they mix up with the really tiny sticks and twigs and shit. Mm-hmm. So like that's where I go to find them. Like if I see a little pack of all these sticks are clogged up by, some rock or something, I know if there's little debris, there's going to be 100 nurdles in a spot, this big.
I'm thinking about getting lake water in my mouth, and it's making me just fucking.
Dude, I mean, we drink that water.
Right,
I mean, like this is every time like my volunteers come out and pick up trash, like I always tell people, I'm like, what is your community? Is your community the end of your street? The end of your zip code, like what is it? You're serving a community of 14 million people directly. And I mean, 44 million people drink out of the Great Lakes altogether. So I mean, like you're doing something for a lot of people here.
Like that's an impact that you're making. That's very real. Don't take that lightly.
No, and internationally too.
I know you don't want to throw a number on it, but big impact. I understand you've actually cleaned up over 50,000 pounds of trash.
Oh, that is like a very old number.
So
I'm inching up to 100,000 pounds for sure. And like, that's not counting. Like, I mean, we've got like some big events that are like, I help put on for other people.
The one in May, the river cleanup.
Yeah, we got
coming up,
River Sweep coming up May 6th, which is going to be really sweet. And like, I mean, I think last year we had like almost 1,500 people involved.
We're going to talk about,
we can talk about that. We can plug that later.
Let's keep getting these questions. Get these questions.
Yeah. Where are we?
We're number 2. Cleveland claimed they don't recycle, but encourage people to still recycle. What's going on?
So there's no claim in that. The city was like basically forced to admit that they were not recycling. Okay. So between like 2017 and allegedly, by the way, for the lawyers out there, for y'all's lawyers.
Need a lawyer, call Chuck Foyer.
Basically in 2017, if you've ever heard of National Sword, it was this proclamation by China that said like, we're not taking any more of your plastic recycling. Because like, we don't have recycling infrastructure in this country. We have cleaning and sorting.
We just push it on to the next person.
Exactly. Really? We take it. Yeah, man. I mean, like, and that's funny because like, I mean, it's not, everyone, like so many people, you throw that thing in the bin, it's like a portal. Like, where does it go?
We feel good throwing it in there.
I feel good. I've been told my whole life that like, this is good. But like, and like we might, like recycling is a total scam, and we can get into that a little bit later. But
so with Cleveland, bit about that.
We can get into that. But like with specific regards to Cleveland, again, they're no different than any other city. If like we can't figure out how to economically recycle, no other city's figuring it out either. Like we all face the same, issues. Absolutely. We had the 99.9% of our recyclables went to China, and all of a sudden they cut that tap off. And like, luckily for the industry, I guess, like other Southeastern Asian countries have picked up some of that slack where like the regulations aren't good. And like, I mean, so much of plastic recycling, they say only 5% of all plastic gets recycled. Have you ever heard that statistic? But of that 5%, a huge portion of that is burned for fuel. That is recycling as we know it currently. This is not, I put my bottle in the bin and it magically goes back to Coca-Cola. They recycle it and fill it up with pop again and send it out. That's not a thing. You can only make so many park benches out of like garbage recycled plastic. It's a scam, dude.
Because I heard there's more.
I feel like I hurt Harry's feelings over here.
No,
He's
I mean,
I recycle so much.
I mean, we all do.
I've always had the itch because it's like they used to give you like write-offs on if you recycled enough, how much if you weighed it out and shit. And I'm sitting here and I've always like kind of noticed like to myself, especially going down like if anybody's familiar, there's that giant floating state out in the Pacific that is literally the size of Connecticut. Is it the trash?
The Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Yeah. I think it's much larger than that. But so that one's really big, and the biggest thing is that it has a density, right? So it's packed filled with all these things, and like a huge portion of that is discarded fishing gear. It's nets that are 100 miles long that have been lost, and they're all wrapped up on each other. That's like most of what it is. We have a Great Lake Erie garbage patch that is not quite as big as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, but they said that it does rival it in density. It is like nearly identical in density.
That's insane.
It's like an iceberg. You just see the top, but underneath.
Right. And like all you have to do, and like I do this personally, like, and I learned this from fishing. If I want to find fish, I look at a map, I see what's in the river, what, conditions are going to be like. And I'm like, there's going to be fish there. There's going to be fish there. I got a quarter mile where I probably won't catch anything. There's going to be fish there. I do the same thing with the trash now. I know what to look for in the river with the currents and stuff. And that's how they found this floating patch of plastic in Lake Erie. They were like, all these currents kind of come together, converge in this one area. Let's go check it. And like immediately, oh, here it is.
So what you know about recycling, have you just like, you don't do it at all?
No, I definitely do. And it's because I've been poisoned by like this thing. But like I tell everybody, I'm like,
I'm poisoned too. Fuck.
I'm like, we're going to get back to Emma's question. Cause that's a really good question. But really quickly, like if you are putting any number of % of your bandwidth and energy into recycling, that effort is far more better used put towards composting. Compost, don't like recycling. I mean, recycle paper if it's clean and doesn't have ink on it, which like, when do you come across that? Recycle glass for sure. Glass is like the only thing that is like, it's infinitely recyclable. It doesn't create too much environmental damage. So now the funny thing with like aluminum is like, what are you going to recycle as an aluminum person? A can, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, that can has a plastic liner inside of the metal. So like that makes it uneconomical to recycle because now you have to try to separate that plastic from it. So that just goes in the trash.
Too much
and which is like brings us back to our why was Cleveland not recycling thing. So for years, the city of Cleveland, especially, because like Cuyahoga County did not admit to this. They did not, they never stopped their recycling program. The city of Cleveland basically got found out because, so like there was a couple things, but like I think the main one was the library workers, the unionized library workers here were going out, they were preparing for a strike. And a lot of those librarians were reading public minutes of past board meetings. And they read this thing and they were like, what is this? They're talking about how they could save like $1,500 or something, or no, it was going to cost them like $1,500 to move the recycling dumpster closer to the street because the truck was too big to fit down where it needed to go. So like, hey, like we either need to move this dumpster, we need to get a different dumpster, or we need to find a different company with a different truck. And the city of Cleveland was like, keep your $1,500. We don't recycle anyways. Just start putting it in the same dumpster basically. And it all goes to the landfill.
They outed themselves. They
accidentally outed themselves. And like that sparked like a lot of people starting to understand what was going on. And like I said, like that's not uncommon. Like we're not, we're not special in that way. Like this is everyone.
We're not the only city that does.
So now the city of Cleveland has reinstated its recycling program, but you have to like take a class. You have to like learn these things about how to not contaminate the recycling. And then you get a sticker. And only the recycling cans with the sticker get put in a recycling truck. And like, I mean, in some ways, like, I mean, even by like me putting my recycling out on the street, not only am I telling my neighbors I like recycling, so should you, blah, blah, blah. But you're also causing all those trucks to be meaninglessly driven around when it could all be done by the same truck if it's all going to the landfill anyways. Like you might actually be doing environmental harm by
promoting
recycling, by even just doing it personally. Like I can't prove that obviously, but like,
wow, that is incredible to think about.
So they haven't really said, and I haven't really been looking because I just don't care to be lied to by the city of Cleveland anymore, but they haven't said this is the company that we now do this through, this is the process that makes it different from what it was. None of that's been said. So I just basically got to assume they had people opt in to another fake thing. I would love, there's going to be people that, and friends of mine that work in these industries that are probably going to be send me an email with 20 reasons why they think what I said is wrong. But
would you like to sit down with Mayor Bibbs?
So I did have an opportunity. I got invited to a little town hall that he did. It was COVID time, so it was all online and stuff. But I did have a chance to meet him. He's very close with some of my friends. And do I think he needs to sit down with me? Absolutely.
You heard that, Bib?
I've invited him. I've invited him out on a kayak. I've talked to people who worked in, around him. I have directly messaged them on Instagram multiple times. It's been tagged. Every once in a while, I'm just I'll open up my my messages and it's you've been tagged how many times on a Bib post? And it's oh, he was in a kayak and now 10 of my followers are you should be out there with Trashfish. You should be out there with Trashfish. And I asked him. I gave him an opportunity before he ran because I was people ask me, which is crazy to me that people respect my opinion at all. But to come to me and be yo, who should I vote for mayor?
No, for real, man.
Are you willing to give him another chance if he's willing to come help you?
Oh, I'm down to give anybody as many chances as they want. He's open invitation at all times. I got enough kayaks for him, and all of his friends.
Mayor Bibb.
We'd have fun.
You heard it, man. It would be a great look for you.
We'll come join you.
That's what I said, honestly.
If he goes, we'll go.
We're going no matter what.
It was right. It was getting towards the end of his campaign, and I reached out to them. I was yo, money where your mouth is. This is a great photo op. I'd love to have a chat with you. And they just iced me over and over again.
Interesting. Maybe we'll reach out. Force
Dude,
him.
we on your ass.
We'll
bro.
have him here, and then when we get done sitting down, you pop through the door,
naked.
And we're from the same area. He went to Trinity, so he should
just sit in the chair right there, keep it crossed and tucked, so you look professional.
Right? I'm not going to do that. I don't even own a belt.
Even better.
Shit.
When I said I traded my shoelace for lunch, I was talking about my belt. That is a shoelace.
That is a shoelace.
That's why I know you were a BMXer or a skater.
Skater.
For sure.
And working on cars too. Don't scratch dad's fender. Don't scratch your own fender. He's going to
take the belt off.
You learn that from a young age. Yeah. Don't scratch that fender.
Fuck that.
That's fucking hilarious.
Money. Anyway, we got a third question.
Hit me.
Another one from one of your followers. What inspires you to do important work of cleanup and education that you do so well, and what keeps you going?
Man, I'm inspired literally by my followers. Having their support is insane. Seeing the fact that are willing, they work all day long and then are still willing to come out and come with us. That's an inspiration. The person who asked that has organized her own litter cleanups and has invited me. She works with another organization. She's hey, you should help come with this. And you're my inspiration, Kelly. That's it.
You're that, Kelly. Thank you.
We do it for you.
I'm going out with
it's always been you.
I get an awesome opportunity to go out with a really cool group of kids from St. Ignatius, and they have a little green team, little clean team. We go out, we walk around that side of town and pick up trash, and it's all because of her and her husband that I get those opportunities. So like I said, my followers they give me all the opportunity I've had, and they keep driving me to do this stuff. And then, it's further than that. It's my city. I can't stop doing this. If you went out there and you did this, it's addictive, man. I want to do this for my community.
You feel good about it if it's rewarding.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I'm absolutely beat by the end of it, and there's those days where it's just I was here yesterday. I didn't move my kayak for 45 minutes and I cleaned up every tiny little piece of plastic here. And now I'm here a day later or 2 days later and it's all back. And it's like, that can be like super soul crushing at times, but it's like, sun's going to come out tomorrow and like, you're going to have a blast doing it.
Every time, man. And even then you can cast a rod, cast a little line.
Dude, I wish I had more time for fishing these days, like especially kayak fishing. I'm so obsessed with this that like I can't not be doing it if I'm in a kayak. Like I have like fairly good restraint if I'm walking around without a bag, because I used to not be that way. I would be, I'm picking up this gum wrapper, I'm picking up this cigarette butt, and I'm putting it in my pocket. I like don't typically do that anymore. And but like especially if I don't have a bag, but like yeah, I can't be on a kayak without picking up trash.
Dude, that's how I know you dedicated you are. I think that's a really good thing to hear, and that's really refreshing for others to hear as well. So appreciate that.
And I hope everybody that hears this, like, you guys get inspired to come volunteer, like help out. Do it on your own if you feel so moved to, because like every little piece helps.
There's trash everywhere.
And honestly, for me, like I think I want to start doing this so that one day, 10, 20 years down the line, maybe, Eddie can be out on the river and just fish. Because that's all that he wanted to do.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's all he wanted to do in the beginning.
That is it, man. I just wanted to fish.
That's the end goal, man.
I love that.
Cast a nice line and a clean river.
I can't tell you enough, like how much this is. Like,
will you eat fish?
I like to kiss I don't eat them, but I will kiss a fish. I love, especially like my first of the species, or even my first of that species of the year. Sometimes they get a kiss before they go back in the water, and like that water's gross. That water's gross.
I'm
not worried about the fish. I'm not worried about the fish. The water's gross.
You get a steelhead for the year yet?
I don't steelhead fish because like I don't eat fish, and so like steelhead are notorious. You know, like they're kind of fragile fish. So like you have to treat them with a lot of respect unless you're going to eat them. Then you just haul them in and do what you need to do. So like I tend to leave those. And there's a lot of people out there, fly fishermen especially, that are like in tune with the absolute best practices to like treat these fish with the utmost respect and make sure they, you know, go on to swim another day. And like, but so I just don't typically fish for that fish.
Got it.
Environmentalist through and through.
But yeah, catfish, bass, man, pike. I love it. I got a bucket list fish coming up this summer. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm going down to Texas to try to fish for alligator gar. I don't know if y'all are familiar. I mean, dude,
Jeremy Wade fan. Big time.
Yeah. And like, I mean, they get huge. They're called an alligator gar for a reason. They got the chompers and everything. And like, I got a guy from Texas who like, again, I've never met this dude. I've been a fan of his for years on YouTube and catching dinosaurs. If you want to go check out some really awesome gar fishing in Texas. But he's out there, and I mean, he is the number one brain on how to treat this fish well. Cause like that fish, especially, I mean, we used to have them here in Ohio, and now their range has been depleted all the way down to basically just like a couple of rivers in Texas. And so like he has, and that was on purpose. They were like, this fish, it's dangerous, it's aggressive, which is all BS anyways. But they were like, they're going through with hooks, just stabbing them and bringing them on the boat, shooting them in the water and just leaving them there. Even to this day, like, I know that was really prevalent in like the 40s, 50s, 60s. Even today, like if you're fishing down there, you're probably not far away from a bank that just has 10 dead alligator gar on it for no reason. And this dude is like, he's on it. He's fishing with like the smallest hook, treating these, getting these fish to not overexert themselves, and he's on it. He's pushing the state. He's currently trying to push the state to designate alligator gar as game fish because they're currently trash fish or rough fish, which is where I get the name for trash fish. Trash fish is just it's a fishing guy term and an industry term for fish that don't really hold a value. Nobody eats them. They're not a good sport fish like bass. Like if they're going to keep people coming here spending money to fish, they're nothing like that. They just everyone was afraid that they eat all the game fish. And so they were eradicated. And now, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the silver carp issue that we have in the Mississippi River. And like, God forbid they get to the
name for Asian carp ones. That's just the other name for the Asian carp.
Yeah. And so they were brought here from Asia. They got out of a little farm, a fish farm, and they've completely decimated the Mississippi River. And we've got like electric fence barriers and bubble screens and nets so that these fish cannot get out and into the Great Lakes, because it'll be the end of the fisheries here.
I assume you fucking hate Florida then, just what people do to those waters. And they dump Amazon catfish. The snakeheads are a perfect example of something that shouldn't be here. The pythons, like,
And like that being said, I mean, now snakehead fishing is like revamping the sport fishing in Florida. Like now people are like specifically going out just to catch that fish because they are really fun fish to catch. I haven't had the pleasure myself, but like
those teeth fucking crazy.
It's really awesome. You know, we get bowfin up here, and unfortunately bowfin are often mistaken for snakehead. And so like in areas where there's snakehead and bowfin, a lot of bowfin suffer the fate of you think it's an invasive species.
Can you eat them?
Bowfin?
Yeah.
I think yes, you can, but not a lot of people do. And you can definitely eat snakehead. That's why they're here, is because someone was like, I gotta import this fish and I'm gonna sell it because they eat it like crazy.
How does it taste?
I don't know. I don't eat fish. Like I'll do like maybe one trip, and it's been a while. I'll do like one camping trip a year where we don't bring food and you're just in the kayak for a couple of days with a tent packed in the bottom and you catch what you eat.
Sounds like some shit I'm trying to do up in Boundary Waters, Minnesota.
Right?
Crazy.
Oh, man, dude.
Canoes out there.
Oh, yeah.
Just
pike fishing like crazy.
Let the line cast from the back of the canoe while you're trying to get to your spot. You might see the northern lights. Gets a hitting, bro. Man, I love camping.
All right, enough nerd.
Sorry, we're nerding out.
Nerd fishing.
Brokeback Mountain.
But to the name Trashfish, I mean, like that's us. You know, I mean, like
that's
that we are like, there is no money in picking up garbage, you know, especially if you want to do something that's right with it, you know, like disposing of the garbage is where people make all their money. Collecting it, not so much. So like there's not a lot of money in it. And people, if you have these trash fish like an alligator gar that's removed from a river system, all of a sudden now you have a carp problem. You know, if we had enough alligator gar still in that system, this might not have happened. So like you remove these trash fish because you think they have no ecological benefit just because they have no economical benefit. And like that's totally like messed up.
That's a great way of putting it.
I love that. I love all of this shit. God damn it, you're so great.
But generally.
See what you're doing? You're talking the segue.
That's a communication guy right there.
That's a journalism guy.
Right.
So yeah, general questions for all three of us. You can go ahead and ask that.
If a genie gave you one wish, what would you wish for?
I feel like you were asking Harry first. Why don't you answer
Sorry,
Harry?
You're on the spot.
Dude, holy shit. If I could have one wish, can we assume I can't have eternal wealth, right? If I could have one thing, man. Fuck, I really try not to think of things like this because I feel like I always get caught up on things I don't have. But if I could have one thing, man. Oh, shit. You want the dark answer or you want, like, the righteous answer?
We want your answer.
Your answer.
The one thing I honestly, like, want to try just before I die, just to know, man. I don't know about you. I'm a big movie guy. I love seeing just the way shit goes down. I always wish I could live life like a movie with the catchphrases, the punchlines, the drugs, the women, all of it. I'll tell you what.
The men.
Before I die, I need to try the heroin they had in Pulp Fiction. You can't get that shit anymore.
That is your one wish.
That's the one wish before I die. Because I know I can go get money. I know I can have happiness. I know I'm going to enjoy traveling and shit. But like, that's the one thing
heroin?
Before I die. People ask you like, one thing we do at Joke is, what's the one drug you would try before you die? And I was like, I'd have to go to Pulp Fiction and try the shit that like was so clean back in the day. Because the biggest thing that's killing people nowadays, besides the trash killing fish in the waters, you got fentanyl killing people across the United States. So there's a drug problem, of course, and I'm sure I'm not putting the greatest light on it, but, you know.
Dude, it's trank now that we're worried about.
You've
seen this shit?
Like
man.
Making people's skin fall off?
Yeah,
dude,
and like
softens tissue and all that
people
shit.
in the know are saying it's already here in Cleveland for sure.
That's terrible. It's devastating to hear.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's a big problem of itself, too, that a lot of people don't want to offer help towards either. And
I mean, dude, that's me picking up needles all day long in the river. Like, I see that. You know, you can learn a lot from people by going through their trash. You hire a PI or like they're going to go through your trash. So, like, I know, like, deep, dark secrets of our community. And, like, one of them is, like, how many needle users, like, we have in our community, unfortunately. And, like, those people they're not given the help they need. And it's really terrible.
No, it really is. About all the women's panties that I buy.
Are you throwing them down the sewer?
Well, yeah, after I wear them, after I parade them around.
Dude,
you look like you chew on them.
You were going to take pictures of the severed feet, start selling those. You're good to go.
Quentin wear women's underwear and then
you don't have to tell them who wore it. You just post a picture of anybody up there.
They just got that stank.
Are we talking about fraud? Am I talking about fraud here? Is this illegal?
No, we're talking about some stank on Quinn's underwear.
It's not fraud.
Stank on your panties.
I feel like my musk is very manly, though. You smell balls on me.
Not bad.
Anyway,
So, but here's the twist I want to add to the wish. You can't obtain it within your lifetime just by buying it, or what you think you can actually get now. Like, what's something you actually would have to wish for? You cannot get right now.
World peace.
That's just a myth.
World peas, like mixed up in a bowl.
Yeah, like peas from all over the world.
Cool.
Yeah. No, world peace. That's always been my wish. Like every time it's 11/11 and shit like that, every time I make a wish, all my birthday candles and shit has been for world peace.
Unfortunately, the United States loses pretty much all of its control and sway and prosperity in the world if war ends, unfortunately.
Hey,
100%. That's our leverage. I guess
world peace though is bigger than
if we're sticking,
all the things that we have.
Hey man, I'm right there with you.
If we're sticking Earth style here, Earth Day, especially for the theme here, I'll retrace my heroin.
No, it's too late. No, you showed your true colors.
I want everything that's already preserved land. I'm talking national forests, national parks. I think need to stay mandated where people cannot buy up the land. Like I love, like the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, right? These people that actually have the homes already built there, if they try to sell their homes, they only have two options. They can sell it to a family member or they sell it back to the park. People can't take back over that land. And I think that's something that needs to continue. Like, I love what Alaska does with preserving their land. I love how there's the U.S. Forest Service to preserve national forests and still allow people to enjoy it. But it's only a matter of time before these nonprofits can't be funded and people turn their back to Mother Earth. So if it's something that could really stay there and stay permanent, I wish those would.
We are not accepting that as your answer. You said heroin. And
also, Debbie Downer over here.
Please.
You don't have to sell the land to exploit it. You can write contracts for what's underneath the land. You can write contracts for the trees growing out of that land. Millions and millions of dollars billions of dollars are made off of our public lands every year by privatized corporations, and we see none of it.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
shit. I heard they cut off a lot of the timber. People that go for soil. The Tongass has the most nutrient-rich soil.
It's one of the things I'm most worried about with, we talked about it earlier. Like, we have so much water. It's not a thing that we have to. I was out in California for Christmas, and I don't travel too often. It was cool to see the other side of the country, and what I saw there was drought. And I'm talking to my friends that are there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, when we moved here 10 years ago, that was a river, that was a pond," and I'm like, "That was not a river, dude." He was like, "Yeah, it was. I promise you, feet deep." And this is the thing that you've seen in 10 years. Well, we assume that we have this infinite abundance of water here, and there's laws in place right now that say that we cannot sell water out of the Great Lakes, and I think a big part of it is because it's international, but all laws are just waiting for the right lobbyists to pay enough money to change that law,
That's crazy.
The rich keep getting richer.
Sure do.
Eddie, what's your answer? One wish.
I'm going to go real selfish on it.
Good. Heroin?
Well, actually, it might help, actually. So,
heroin?
Dude, I'm hurting, man. My back. Even I was complaining. Right. I got you guys to give me your chair. Harry gave up his favorite chair so that I would have a back.
A lot of on my chair. In that chair.
Hey, dude, I'm appreciating every second of it.
Appreciate you.
So because and again, I do have a little bit of background. I talked to you guys earlier about not being able to hike all that super long hikes because of my ankle, which is why I got into kayaking to begin with. Was when I broke my leg. And to live pain-free would be really sweet. Wow. So maybe that heroin, maybe health insurance.
That heroin.
Help me pay for health insurance.
Dude, I'm waiting for the carpal tunnel and arthritis to kick in from wrestling when I'm 40.
Oh yeah.
I can feel my elbows sometimes lock up and shit.
Oh yeah.
Nah, man, I'm on that yoga kick, bro. I'm about to do a cleanse next month.
Teach me the ways.
Get all these toxins.
I do what I call, and this is from my skateboarding days, but I still do it. Gas station yoga, which is I just have a moving blanket in my car that I put out on the ground and do my dumb stretches that aren't real stretches, but they make me be able to ride a bike or kayak.
All you need is mobility. I think if you can get into that place, get the stretches enough to get the mobility that you need,
right?
And kind of test your limits with it every once in a while.
Oh yeah,
you just gotta stick to a plan, man. Keeps you rolling.
Consistency is key. I love that. Great shit. Good shit.
Great
everybody.
Questions. Please always keep continuing to ask. We will always try to take the good ones, and every now and then we'll try to take a good and funny one.
And thank y'all for that. My followers, y'all's followers, awesome questions.
Your followers
That's really
came through
cool.
real solid there.
They killed it. Absolutely.
The school of trash fishes. Thank you.
All right, so Eddie, now we can talk about a little bit about what's coming up with you. You mentioned the river sweep coming up in May.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that,
dude? River sweep. I think I should know this, but like I think we're like 33 years or something into river sweep.
Coming up this time.
Is that what it is? 34.
34.
So I've been a part of it as a volunteer before, but the last couple of years I work officially through Trashfish with river sweep and through Canalway Partners, who puts it on, an amazing organization that, I mean, they probably don't want me to admit this, but like they've taught me everything I know about even trying to make it in this situation. They've done so much to help me. One of the cool things is allowing me to be on river sweep, where last year we had like 1,500 Clevelanders out cleaning up, and like that's all over by the river. Most of it's on land. You know, we had probably 150 vessels out on the river last year, and we're hoping for even more this year. So
can you give the people one more time that date?
Yeah.
How they can actually get tapped into it.
Yep. May 6th, Saturday in the morning, I think 9 a.m. And bring your own kayak, or we have a very, very limited amount of kayaks that we could rent out. But you can either message me or go on Canalway's Facebook or Instagram, whatever. They do all of the signups and stuff. They do ask that you RSVP, because you get a t-shirt. Like, it's really cool. It's really, really cool day. And so you get all this cool stuff, and there's spots all over the city, no matter where you are. Even if you're like, oh, I got to ride my bike there's a spot that you can get to for sure. So check out Google it. There's a whole map where you can pick where you want to be. And one of those places is down by Merwin's Wharf, which is where like we operate out of pretty much. And we got kayaks for you. You bring your own kayak, or even walk around on the land up there.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there was non-kayak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the people that are on parole looking for community service hours, can you sign off on that as well?
I'll have to look into the legality of that. But if you have to be a 501(c), which is like a real nonprofit, which I'm technically not. Luckily, now I work under the umbrella of another nonprofit that like allows me to be able to apply for stuff like grants and things, because a lot of those you can't do because you have to be tax exempt through nonprofitship. Right. So like I have another nonprofit here in Cleveland that allows me and they help me try to figure out, navigate that whole situation. So
very possible.
So very possible I could do that. We've definitely had businesses that are like, we get day of service or whatever, and they'll send out a whole office full of people, or even if it's just a couple of randoms, they're like, hey, we get to do service for whenever. Those people from Seattle, they like work for a big tech out there, and they were like, we get paid to like do this. Cool.
Dude,
thanks.
How fucking awesome is it for you though, Eddie, to see what kind of change you wanted to really coming to? Like, to see people that actually believe in what I wouldn't say necessarily didn't believe in was going to blow up, but you didn't see big picture like this coming.
But like, I can't always see, oh, we got all this trash out. I mean, don't get me wrong. It does not look like it used to down there 5 or 6 years ago before I was doing this every day. Like, it was a totally different story. And like, I mean, all the big stuff like tires and stuff like that had been there for decades. We took care of. And now that stuff doesn't make it down quite as much. But like, the plastic keeps coming back. So the big change is the people online that are like, either you taught me this, or you helped me understand this, or now I have the tools to like go and explain to my partner why maybe we don't need to buy the little throwaway flossers or something, like whatever it takes to do something in your own life that is aiming towards a better environment, I'm all for. So those people that are affected by that,
y'all heard it first. For the people that love the message, want to get tapped in, how can they find you on social media? How can they stay in touch? How can they keep up?
Hit me up on Instagram mostly. Like I said, I absolutely despise social media. So I suck at it as well. You might message me. I might miss that message every once in a while. That's on me. I'm terrible. But message me. And if I miss your message the first time, message me again and be like, yo, dude,
it's all right,
you're blowing it. And I'll be like, oh, I blew it. I just forgot that I blew it. But yeah, Trashfish_CLE is our Instagram. I have an opportunity coming up that the demographic I'm probably going to be reaching is not all on Instagram. So I'm probably going to have to make a Facebook account for this and hope that helps that. But so you might be able to find us on Facebook here in the next maybe
week. We will repost
week.
It as well when it comes up. So make sure anybody that wants to give a shout out for Eddie to get the message out. And especially if you're a Clevelander, repost this shit, man. necessarily have to be out there doing the work. It would be great if you did and you volunteered, but at least push the message for the greater good.
Nothing makes me happier when like I get a random message that was like, this person tagged you in their story, and it's just like a random old photo or whatever, and it's like, hey, this guy is cool, check it out, or donate, or like whatever, you know, like my followers do that. And like when I've got, you know, 4,000 followers or something stupid, and I might be able to reach a couple of people and they actually are going to make a movement, someone with 200 followers and they're all their family and friends, you're listening to those accounts, you know, like those are the real influencers in our life, are like our friends and family. So like when someone random is like, hey, I like this dude, you should like this dude too, I get more followers out of that than like I will being on Channel 3 News.
Hey, yo, it costs you nothing. It helps out the community, it helps out the environment. And it's not your lame friend with the mixtape that you've heard a million times from a million other people.
But also download my mixtape.
It's fire.
Quentin's got good music. Check out Queasy Wonder.
Oh, yeah?
We'll get to that another day, people.
He's very shy.
It's not important.
I'm into that.
We important, though.
We are important. Eddie's important. Trashfish is important.
Y'all have made me feel important. Thank you.
Dude, like,
I appreciate this.
I can't express enough
how we fucking suck.
You guys are great. But
not just that, but how important you actually are. And I don't want you to ever forget that. And, you know, I know that you're a very humble dude. And, you know, we don't want to add to you not being humble or anything like that, or knock you off of that.
I appreciate that.
But the shit that you're doing is absolutely 100% important, and it's making an impact. And it has inspired, I can speak for myself, I don't know about Harry, but it's inspired me definitely to want to get out there and
hell yeah, man.
Help out, man.
I got a kayak for you, all your friends, anybody you want, buddy.
I just think you definitely deserve your roses, and we're glad to have given you a spotlight. But, you know, definitely after this episode, we want to continue to do more and help out, dude. Like,
heck yeah.
Do not hesitate.
You know, and we just appreciate how, I mean, you're such a cool dude, down to earth, man.
Appreciate that.
Very real.
You guys are great liars.
Aren't we? This is all for the camera. No, but absolutely.
I appreciate that, guys.
Absolute pleasure.
And you guys know, as always, make sure you tap down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, check out our Instagram to be able to check out this episode. If you can't find Eddie's page, we'll have him tagged in the photo from this post. Happy Earth Day, people. Do your part to save Mother Earth.
Day.
Yes. And
I want to say really quick,
please.
I just posted like maybe yesterday or something about how and we talked earlier, the EPA was formed after the river fire here, you know, all these great things. Earth Day, like Gaylord Nelson, a senator / governor. I saw you raise your eyebrows. You owe me $1. Grow up.
No, wait.
I'm just kidding.
Dude, I feel like I know. Wait, give me a guess. I know where he's from.
Tell me.
I'm probably fucking up. Wisconsin?
You are 100% correct.
Oh, shit. Let's go. I knew I fucking heard his name before.
And,
I did my research on this last year.
He was a senator / governor, and he was the one that started the first Earth Day, and it was all because he watched the Cuyahoga River catch on fire and watched the Santa Barbara oil spill in California, you know, all within the span of like a month. Wow. And he was like, man, we got to do something about this. So.
Wow, incredible. I didn't know that. You know, see, Cleveland, we are important.
Where are we? Is this, wait, I think, right. Yeah, that's us.
I think
no, you're right.
Like
no, you're
America,
right.
So we're from here.
There it is. Somewhere.
Right.
That's got to be high Canada, dude. That's got to be high. No, that's like Newfoundland. That's like,
think so?
Yeah, we'd be like.
Oh yeah, true.
Newfoundland.
Yeah, we'd be like here.
Just because we're Americans doesn't mean Canada doesn't exist.
Yeah, sorry,
dickheads.
Because the map is so accurate.
Tell me about it.
It's like a pig. Somebody said this looks like a pig.
No, the 100% looks like
it looks perfect. I love this thing.
Maybe a bowl. Here's the horns.
Thank you. All right. Last thing before we wrap out, the most important words to live by.
So this is kind of like your fortune cookie. If you could tell your younger self something now, you can hand this fortune cookie and.
You know, young Eddie out there who broke his leg and didn't know what to do next. Like, what are those words that are going to inspire him to become the Trashfish?
Dude, I'm like the least inspirational person. I live by the seat of my pants. Like I said, like I don't make plans. I don't love making plans. I don't have words to live by. Like, don't make plans. Maybe that's my word to live by.
That could be it.
There you go. Like,
say it with some conviction.
Don't make fucking plans.
Well, like one step at a time, just take it one action at a time.
Yeah, I mean, like you can prepare for whatever you want. And like I'm a worst case scenario person all the time. You know, like I have, what are 20 ways I can get out of this terrible thing that's going to happen to me because I'm terrified that's going to happen to me. So like don't make plans because you just have no 1 second it's there, and the next second your plan is garbage.
It fucking bums you out. It's like not having don't have expectations. Just
dude, yeah. I'm so much of a failure constantly that like if I had expectations, I'd be 6 feet under at this point.
The goal is to clean the river, pick up one needle, pick up one cup.
We do it.
And that's
the start.
That's it. Sometimes
and,
that's all you need.
I guess in that way, like, I mean, other people have pointed it out to me as well. Like, it's that like Don Quixote, like, and just beating your head against a brick wall constantly. And I come from like a creative space. Like I worked at that wood shop. I was designing and making furniture, and I was making videos and taking photos before that. And I love the like end result. I love that all that hard work goes into like this thing that you can show off or you can listen to or whatever. I've never had an experience where like, instead of the means justifying the end, like the means justify themselves, which is rad. And I've never been able to wrap my head around that before starting this project for sure.
Wow. I love that. Wow. That was trippy.
All right. I said I was non-inspirational, but
I'm sitting here
non-inspirational except for Q.
I'm inspired by Eddie. I don't give a fuck about y'all.
No, I love that.
But again, it's like Q was talking about at the beginning when you guys opened up, like, you got a good vocabulary, dude. Like, you have a way of giving a new perspective of things. I definitely think a lot of our listeners and followers have gotten a chance to tap in and got a better understanding of who you are. You guys know, as always, we appreciate you each and every time you tune into our episode, to our podcast. Make sure you check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on YouTube as well. Somewhat
and we
TikTok.
are 100% biodegradable.
True.
Me and Harry both will die eventually one day.
About to eat this orange. Speaking of biodegradable.
There you go. And our OnlyFans is coming soon.
Ooh, nice. Don't have me on that one.
Make sure you subscribe.
We'll get you a mask.
But without further ado, we need you to close us out, Eddie. And what that is, you give us one word.
Just one word.
Just one word.
And we'll cut the fucking... That's a wrap.
Later.
Where you been, darling, darling?